Hi all, this video runs you through the process of creating salary components and allocating the same to the employees. Please click on settings at the top right corner of the screen and then click on salary components from the menus available at the left side of your screen. This will take you to a screen wherein you can view a few predetermined components. If you need to create any component, please click on new at the top right corner. Write the name of the component to be created in the space provided and write abbreviation for the same. The effective date could usually be 1st April of that particular year. Depending on whether you want to show this component in a payslip or not, you should enable this particular option. If you want to show this particular component in payslip, then enable it as paid component. If you do not want to show this particular component in payslip, then uncheck this box. Now, you should update the pay type and you got 5 options. Deductions, earnings, overtime, reimbursement. Deductions. If it is going to be deducted from employee salary, that time you should select it as deductions. Earnings. If it is paid to the employee as an earning, that time you should select it as earnings. Overtime. If it is a overtime component, that time you should select it as overtime. Reimbursement. If the employee have incurred any expenses and the same need to be repaid through salary, that time you should make it as reimbursement. Statutory component. Normally, PF, ESI, PT. This type of components we will select it as statutory component. Select the appropriate radio button depending on whether the component is taxable or not. Below you should tick the checkbox against distributed across the year if it is a taxable component. A component is paid component or fixed component paid out every month throughout the financial year. Only then the projected values would reflect in the IT computation sheet. Now to update the calculation type, and you got 3 options here. Flat, formula, slab wise. Flat. If it is an ad hoc amount dependent on nothing, that time you should select it as flat. Formula. If it is depending on any other component, that time you should select it as formula. Then slab wise. If it is on different salary slabs, that time you should select it as slab wise. Under value or formula, please ensure this field is not kept blank. If the component is formula based, update the formula by clicking on formula button, or else please update 0 here. Then you find 3 steps here. Reimbursement. Update the maximum limit per month if applicable. Also tick the checkbox against carry forward if it need to be carried forward to subsequent months. Now you should map the component. Should the components in the drop down list will be relevant to the component we are creating, please map accordingly. This would have impact on IT computations under HRA, leave encashments, etc. Select the appropriate round-off value from the drop-down list. Select the appropriate radio button depending on whether the component is fixed or variable. Tick the checkbox against is an FBP component if this is an FBP component. If the component is attendance dependent, please tick this checkbox. If the component is included in CTC, please tick this checkbox. Create dependent components. Sometimes we need to create arrears and recovery components for some components. These components are dependent components. If the current component needs those components, please tick the checkbox is active. If the is active checkbox is ticked, this component would reflect in the employee's master, the employee and subsequently in the pay register, pay slips elsewhere. If the component is to be processed during FFS, then please tick this checkbox. Once you are confident all the updates selections are done correctly, please click the save option here or add option. This component would get created in the database of the application. Next step is allocation of the salary components. Now that we have created the salary component, we need to allocate the same to the employees. If the salary component is created before creating of employees, then it would be already allocated. If it is created after employee creation, then we need to allocate this now. Pay allocation at the top right corner of the screen. Select component from the drop down list and select the month from when this has to be allocated. On doing so, the screen gets populated with all those employees for whom this component is not allocated. Just click on Save. This gets allocated to all those employees whose names appeared just now. If you need to allocate this to even resignees, then tick the checkbox Resigned Employees. After that, save it. Thanks for watching this video.